Hello everybody. We are live. This is Venus Kalita. We've had a couple of bonus events today. Some of them has run really long and some kind of glitches happen in the Steam Labs. It is making duplicate, triplicate, quadruplicate, and so on of events. One of them's already happened today and the other is happening right now. The only other thing we have left for today is Dragonflight Folly, so I have to go in and make sure on my YouTube side that these glitches aren't showing up. Because it's really crazy. I don't know why this happened or how it happened. But I've got my thinking cap on. I've got my beautiful silk robe on. I'm sitting back in my deep blue leather chair feeling comfy. I've got myself a warm, I'll say milk with some cinnamon sticks in it. It's an eggnog. Let's say it's eggnog. And got a beautiful window here. I just love looking out windows when I'm sitting down. Seeing the sunlight coming through the windows is really nice. And moonlight too. So, let me explain why I did this one. I didn't feel like doing a short. I didn't feel like just rambling on a little mini video and throwing it in. I wanted to actually work with this one, and when I realized I didn't have enough time to really properly announce it to anyone, so nobody knows I'm doing this. If any subscribers actually catch me, a lot of us were online in a raid today, so I don't expect anyone to be back for the rest of the night, although there are some people I haven't seen yet today that might show up later tonight for the regular programming. Usually Hero Flame is there. Sometimes they get busy, but September 10th is supposed to be the time to celebrate National Swap Ideas Day. And I thought, that's kind of neat. I'm trying to get people to do that in open forum in the guild meetings, but no one's really on for the guild meetings. Maybe once in a while, Hero Flame or Tisha Adams might be there for a little bit and then they go, usually for the sneak peeks. And I don't have any new sneak peeks yet. I'm working on something though. There's something new on the agenda. And it happened by accident, but it happened because I was kind of feeling like I don't want to have just sad stories or murder stories or anything like that, just some fun stories, but I still wanted to keep people entertained. So, Sharing Ideas Day, something that I'm working on. It's, keep in mind, originally I wanted to do a Dark Venus series, but we decided to keep it light online. And so what I'm doing is, since people really like the Tuck It In Chills, and now I owe you one, I'm so very sorry for that. I'm just really overwhelmed right now with the new job and the commuting and not being able to swim and trying to stay busy. And there are so many ideas, not the time to do them right, and not the knowledge or equipment to do them the way I really mean to. So, and my mind is in different directions because there's just not enough time in my day right now. I'm feeling very drained and I don't want to be negative about anything that I'm doing. So I thought this might be more fun if someone did come in, and if not, I'll just do a think out loud. So what I'm doing right now, I'm hosting a dream session. It's not for a new organization, but I'm a fairly new VTuber. And so I'm hosting this live brainstorm session online. If anybody shows up other than me. Otherwise, I'm going to do a lot of talk out loud, think out loud modeling, we would call that. And is it to create a new product? No. Solve issues? Yeah, maybe. Advertising campaign to gain subscribers is something I'd really like. And I haven't nailed that yet. Biggest roadblocks I'm facing, yeah, I really want to monetize and I don't know how to get seen, and I haven't had the time. Even when I start to log in to search for the Femme Army and that kind of thing, I'm not finding the right things yet, and I'm not finding their live shows, and I don't know when they are. I have to do that because I think that's my next step for having some success with what I'm doing. I think I need to align myself there and maybe hope for some collaborations down the line when I prove myself in some of their shows. But they do say that they have had VTubers participate before, and that they'd be willing to teach me how, and that's really cool, and I'm going to be appreciative of that. What am I doing? Well, taking a sidestep from the Tuck It In Chill stuff, people want the ghost stories, they want eerie stories, they want unsolved stories, open-ended cases, stories over the water in boats. These are things that I've heard, and Others are looking for stories that are more regular. I'm doing this thing that I always do, like get a haircut. I'm going shopping. I'm going to hang out at the mall. More the ASMR stuff that I was listening to before I became a VTuber. And I thought originally I would go that way, but then I thought it was too intimidating when I saw Vox Akuma out there being his smexy self. Although he's even choosing to tone it down, and I understand why. But and I'm quite sure he's the grumpy dragon. I'm sure that was one of his past lives online. But we'll see. But what am I doing? So I decided I can't do Dark V. I shouldn't be doing that right now. It's not the right time for that. I need to focus my energies in a different way. So what I thought is, well, as you know, at the end of the Tuck It and Chills, I'm telling you little bits of stories, ghost stories that I've kind of gone through myself, and I haven't touched all of it yet. But I thought, well, I've traveled and lived in a lot of lonely places, as I've mentioned, a lot of small places. And they've got their stories, and there's collections of them out there. But I'm going to share some of those the way I've been sharing some of the public domain stuff. So I'm gotten into making slide decks using the different AI programs out there that are the free trials. I'm burning up free trials like crazy in different AI programs that create art based on the input you give it, and then you just keep regenerating and refixing how you say something until you can get something you can use. Some of them look really creepy, man, but and gross, but some of them is interesting, and I'm trying to do what I can with it because I'm not an illustrator, and yeah, what I can do is not what I want to see here through this channel. That's not the style. It's not the style for this. So I've got my thinking cap on. Since it was red, I thought I'd throw on my silk robe and sit in my blue room because I love blue couches. I love blue chairs. My grandmother and my mom used to sit and have tea in these blue velour, velvet-looking chairs, and I had my baby blue Microsoft love seat for the longest time. I think I had it for 11 to 13 years before I finally had to give it up because the springs were finally gone, and that's what I refurbished into the fish for my cosplay. But okay, just thinking out loud. So what I did was I decided is I found a crumpled looking Canadian flag, and I turned it into a sepia instead of exactly black and white image. Then I ghosted myself out to be a black and white image, to be kind of ghostly. I couldn't make myself translucent. I don't know why. I have to work on that. I would have wanted that to look more ghostly. And just to say, I'm going to tell you stories about places I've really traveled through Canada. Then maybe I'll touch on places I've traveled throughout the world, because I've been around a lot. As soon as I hit 18, I was out the door. I was all over the place, as much as I could be, in any way that I could be. So I think that's a really great way to go for some of my stories. And maybe that'll become its own podcast. I do have to look at the different playlists that I have and maybe get rid of some, maybe merge some together like I originally meant to do, because some of them didn't become routine gameplay that I thought it would become, like my Singing Monsters. I thought that was going to take off with a lot of fans, but it died as fast as it grew. I lost them as soon as they joined, sort of. So I've got all these monsters named after them and they're gone. I don't know if they'll ever come back. We'll see. And I have to finish rating Delta's Foamlandia. I mean, all this stuff is shot. All this stuff, I've taken the pictures. I just haven't had the time. I need a certain energy and a certain mood to do all that. So I'm just thinking out loud. So what is it when you sit down and host a dream session, a dreaming session, brainstorming session? So technically a brainstorming session is when a group of people get together, they try to think of new ideas, they try to think of creative solutions for problems we're having, and everyone takes a turn with each other's ideas, sharing the ideas, and also hearing everybody else's problems that need help with solving too. You take turns for everybody there. And there should be a time when everybody feels really comfortable sharing their thoughts and opinions, that they don't feel overwhelmed or outshined or criticized. They just feel comfortable and they can really share. Everyone's got a different perspective and a different life experience that you never know what someone's going to say one day. And it might be like the spark for something. Goals of the meeting have to be for everyone to gain new perspectives and to help each other refine their ideas and into useful solutions. And that's something that the Game Inventors Club actually does. The people there that have actually been publishing games and selling them in the public eye, they do this, and they're very good at this. And I was hoping if anyone showed up today. I knew it was a long shot, but yeah, I tried anyways. So since nobody's here, I'll just tell you why brainstorming is important, different ways of doing it, and maybe I'll run through some out loud with you guys here, and I might be actioning some of it myself down the road because I'm going to have to adjust how I use my time and to pull my energy to do this right, because I don't want to give up on this channel, not at all. So why is brainstorming important? Many teams can benefit from brainstorming sessions, and they're important for different reasons. You can get new perspectives. They can help a team look at a task or a problem from many different points of view, and this might ensure that the team is considering as many or all factors as possible in a project, and that they aren't overlooking anything. Everybody might catch or be flagged or flag something different even, so that you don't forget any part or person in the process. You get more ideas this way. Brainstorming sessions are supposed to encourage everyone to share, even if they need a little bit of work. The rough idea is something that can be refined. A higher quantity of ideas gives teams more options to choose from. Then you can pick and choose what you're going to develop now or later. And that's exactly what I'm doing with these different, so many slide decks that I've started, so many ideas I've started, so many potential things. But as I've gone through, by the time I hit the end of my 5th month, middle of my 6th month, I've actually made notes to myself for things I'm going to skip until next year because of time, because of interest, because of things I don't want to touch because they're triggering to me, something that maybe down the road I should do. But I just couldn't do it right now. And I actually have closed off a lot of these slide decks with like a title page on top, stop, these are all done, or stop dumping these ideas. And they're things that I know I've gone back to multiple times, not just once or twice, but about 5 or 6 times to say, I've used everything I can from this, and the rest of this, well, it took time to collect or work on in the first place. That's not relevant to what I'm doing anymore, so let's dump it and let's move on. And it gave me closure, it gave me clarity. It also helped me, it's kind of like tidying my brain, spring cleaning a house, because now I only go back to those slide decks that say to do at the front, or start here, or whatever. And there may be continuations of things. I listen to the feedback of my subscribers, and if they're kind of sick of the point of something, I'm going to drop it. If they'd like to see something else, I'm still working on their wishes, the wishes that I've been given. Team bonding. Well, I'm hoping that when more people come to the guild meetings and I do the open forum at the end, that we'll be able to do that more. So we could talk about everybody's ideas, because when I hear what you guys want, I definitely make choices with either the visuals or the themes when I'm choosing which pieces I'm going to develop. And sometimes it gives me just a brainstorm that's in some new direction and it's a sidestep, but I just like it, so I do it. Because I want to have fun. I'm putting the fun pieces first when possible. Types of brainstorming. So here we go. Here's the part that I can do the modeling for. So in the types of brainstorming techniques, some of the common ones are just brainwriting. So after learning the purpose of the session, each team member separately writes down their own ideas. Usually give it a time limit and just write as much as you can in that time limit. And then it gives everyone a chance to think of their own ideas first before hearing or being influenced by others. And then you can go around the table and share with everybody. And then there's the online brainstorming. It's the kind of brainstorming that's useful for teams who work remotely. Usually they'll open something like like a Jamboard or a Menti, or they'll open, I don't know, some people just write in the chat windows of Zoom or whatever, and then they copy the chat and keep it for reference and highlight through later the things that you want most. And oh, some people use something called Slack, which I don't know what that is. Google Docs, I've definitely used that a lot, and video calls. So I don't have anyone online with me right now, so I'm not going to be doing any of those today. Rule storming. I've never heard of this. Rule storming is when more creative type of brainstorming, since the team chooses a figure and thinks about how they would handle the situation. For example, I'm saying that I don't know how to get more seen to get more subscribers. And so one person would say, well, if this was run by a company, who's the boss? If you were the boss, what would you do? If you were the client, what would you do? If you were the, I don't know, the person behind the funding of developing it, what would you do? So in this case, rule storming, I don't know, I think I know what some of you have told me you'd like to see me do, and I'm still working on it. There's a round robin brainstorming. So your team makes a circle, and each person has a chance to share their ideas, and everyone else just listens, and it gives everyone a fair chance to speak and contribute to the session. I do that with little kids. I do that with kids a lot. Hold the stick, and now you get to speak, and if you're not holding the stick, please let them finish. You can have the stick back later. Step ladder technique. So with the step ladder technique, people are encouraged to share their ideas without the influence of other people. So after you share a topic, everyone leaves the room. And then you bring each member back into the room one at a time. When this new person comes into the room, they share the ideas only with the people who were already in the room first. So since I'm the host, the first one to come back in would just tell me their idea. And then that's it. That's it. I've heard it. Then the next person comes in and they tell me the idea. They have no idea what anyone else said, so they haven't self-edited before they started speaking. And the guy that just came in and is sitting beside me now, they can't say anything about it. Just be quiet and listen. And everyone just be quiet and listen. I'd say that's the hardest thing to do with kids. Good luck. Give that a try. But I think it's interesting that everyone, as you come in, gets to hear what someone has to say. And you won't, if you're one of the first people in, you have that advantage of hearing almost everybody or knowing what everyone said. The last person doesn't know what anybody said, but then you talk about it after. Or the person in charge who needed the information takes all of it in and walks away, and they can talk about it or not afterwards, but you're going to take their first ideas, their first thoughts, and roll with that somehow. It's going to bring meaning for you somehow. Yeah, so what else? The last one is, let me see. There's something here that I can't do by myself. I need people here. It's called starbursting. So instead of sharing ideas, everyone comes up with as many questions about the topic as possible, and then everyone just like records their questions. This ensures that the group addresses every single part of the project before spending any time on sharing ideas. Like, what are all the questions you could possibly ask about this thing? Okay, let's address that. Let's have those answers. Now that we know why, how, when, where, and all that, okay, taking that into consideration, then now what do we do? That actually makes sense to me, because things like budget, for example, I'm really sorry about the last gaming night where Hero and I tried to do something online. I really should not agree to play a game request unless it is not requiring downloading, because that was a surprise to me, and with all the trouble I've had, I just can't download more programs. I keep having to weed things out and move things into a hard drive as soon as I can, to keep the base stuff running so that I can have these shows happen. And my computer is so burdened that it takes so long to get in and out of just, I'm always saying I'm late by island time, and I don't like that, but I could be ready and setting everything up, and all of a sudden it all freezes and it won't let go, and it won't even turn off when I want it to. So there's like constraints. So in knowing constraints, when you're offering solutions or ideas, knowing it up front, because we ask the questions first, then we don't waste time on insisting on ideas that can't be actioned. And I think that's actually a good thing to do. So I like the idea of the starbursting. Rapid ideation is the last one that I found. This is when you limit brainstorming sessions to a short amount of time. After learning about the topic, team members write down as many ideas as possible within time period. I used to do something like this to fight writer's block, to get creative writer juices flowing. So like, say they give you a word, VTubing. Write everything that you could think of for VTubing. Could be random words, could be sentences, phrases, people, numbers, I don't know, whatever it is. And at the end of 1 minute, you go back and you circle one word you like the most or one phrase you like the most out of that whole blurb, and you make that the title of the next brainstorm, and then you give yourself, say, 3 minutes, write everything you can about that. After that time's up, you look through everything that you wrote that you associated with it. Doesn't have to be in order, doesn't have to be full sentences, could be jot notes. You take that one, you make that the new title, and now you're writing for 10 minutes. This is something like that. So again, that also helps you go home earlier from a meeting, which most people would appreciate. Always state the goal as clear as possible. Allow for silences, because people do need to think, to process, to understand, to be sure. And so now we have a silence. But seriously, so anyways, I just thought it would be nice to cover these kind of things because it is the National Swap Ideas Day. And yeah, I guess since I'm the only one here, no one really had time to know that I was going to do this. And I do try to do this when I do the open forum segment, which is the last part of my guild meetings every alternate Saturday night. Know that I'll be trying to do these sessions. I'll probably try starbursting. I think starbursting sounds like the thing that might help the most. Because I already do rapid ideation. Right now, I think if I were writing more stories for Brave Morsels, that would be more helpful there. And I'd say stepladder technique in a rough sense, because I have every one of my subscribers that has been giving me feedback and wishes for things to do with shows or places to put them or characters to use. That's already happening kind of, but it just hasn't happened with a whole bunch of us together at the same time. So hopefully as we grow, we'll be able to do that. And until then, I won't bore you guys any further. Just know that there's a new playlist going to be coming out that I might tie into, or I might feature either through Tuckin' and Chill nights or through guild meeting sneak peeks. And I've got something on the way. I can't remember exactly what I called it, but something about like the true tales of the places I've traveled. True terrifying tales of places I've traveled. So it's not fiction. It's what people reported they feel they've experienced or sensed or witnessed. And so, since there are so many stories that come from all these places that I've lived, I'm going to think about them. I'm going to share some. I already have been doing that, but in a more formal way, where we've got background pictures to look at. Thanks, Hero Flame, for that request. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So everybody, this is Venus Kalita, signing off from trying to celebrate with you the National Swap Ideas Day. Know that Noriyama's song is coming. Know that Venus's new little playlist is evolving. And you'll get a sneak peek at the next guild meeting. That'll be next Saturday. What's Saturday coming? This is Sunday, so Saturday coming up. You will see what I'm working on. To try to meet some of my viewers' interests, and hopefully to attract more people into our little group. Thank you, everyone that's been one of my subscribers. Thank you for those that, if your accounts were hacked, you made new ones and came back to me. Thank you so much. Eventually, hopefully by next Saturday, we will have finished rating Foamlandia. Everybody's piled up at the gate, and everything's been video clipped. There's many videos. I just have to string it all together in the right order. And I'm fussing with it, so, because it takes time to do the special effects and sound effects, and yeah, I want to be very, very awake when I do it. So this is Venus Cletus signing off. I'm still going to be back for our regular show at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's just an hour from now. I gotta go get my laundry, and that's 11 floors down. So I really gotta go to real lifey stuff right now because I head back to work in the morning. So this is Venus Cletus signing off. Happy National Swap Ideas Day. Don't be afraid to get together and have a think session with your friends. Take care, and I'll see you soon enough. This is Venus Cletus signing off.